Hi, I'm here to introduce you to the etiquette rules for going to the theater. There are 8 rules, and the first rule is arrive early. You don't want to be stepping on people as you're trying to get into your seat, and you also don't want to make the performance start late, because other people took the time and the effort to get there on time, and you want things to be able to go smoothly and according to plan. Rule number 2 is no use of the cell phone or a camera during the performance. Obviously, talking on your cell phone would be very loud and distracting, but also just checking your notifications or playing a game or any of those things, not only are they disrespectful, but the light from the camera can be very distracting to other patrons. You also don't want to be using flash photography because the flash on the camera can be distracting not only to the patrons, but also to the actors. And sometimes it can be dangerous. There are also sometimes copyright issues with being able to film or take photography of it. Rule number 3 is don't leave before the final bows. It seems pretty self-explanatory, but a lot of people try to rush out to beat the crowd. But these people just took a lot of time and a lot of effort to create this art for you. And regardless of whether or not you enjoyed it, it is respectful to acknowledge that and to stay through their final bows.
You guys can take a bow. Go ahead and take a bow. Beautiful.
Rule number 4, no food and no drinks allowed. Now, the truth is some theaters do allow both food and drink, but it's important to go ahead and assume that they don't until you've learned otherwise so that you're not breaking those.
There's actually no food in the theater. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for letting me know.
Number 5 is definitely no talking during the show. People don't want to hear you having a conversation with your neighbor. That's what going out afterward to talk about the show is about.
I mean, they don't require play.
Rule number 6 is that there's no readmission if you have to leave the theater for some reason. So make sure that you go to the bathroom before the show, or during the intermission, or after the show. And this is because of the light and the noise of the doors opening and closing is very distracting, again, to both the patron and the other. And they're trying to create an atmosphere and a story for you that you can get lost in and not get pulled out of repeatedly every time someone needs to use the restroom. Rule number 7 is don't be afraid to react. It's super important to those actors to be able to hear your laughter and to be able to hear those little gasps of surprise and to know that someone is out there and that they are creating this together. And those things are important. But you want to make sure that your reactions are still respectful to the continued performance and to other people's ability to still hear what's going on. So you don't want to have a play-by-play of, oh my God, did you see that? Or loud yelling.
God, can you believe that they just did that? Wow.
Look. And lastly is rule number 8, hard candies and cough drops. They're super important, and every theater has people having them because it helps to keep your mouth from getting too dry during the performance, and it also helps to make sure you don't have any coughing fits, which can be distracting. However, those wrappers can be really, really loud, so make sure that you unwrap all of your candies before the performance begins. And if you follow those 8 rules of etiquette, and so does everyone else, you can have wonderful theater-going experiences.